So I kind of look at the camera to see if it's on or not. And I was like, well, I can't just sit here and not do anything. This is not a theoretical anymore. This is you're getting a tattoo.
Have you been forced into liking pastry just because of your name? What is it like taking Eau Rouge for the first time? Like, how would you describe it?
I mean...
Hello everybody and welcome back to the P1 podcast. Today, you might notice we're in a different kind of setting and we've got a special guest, otherwise known as Oscar Piastri. Yes, we are collecting F1 drivers like infinity stones at the moment, and the next one is Oscar Piastri. Oscar, how are you doing, my friend?
I am very good. It's nice to be on the podcast.
Oh, it's great to have you. We've got lots of questions, so we're going to dive into them. The first one from our amazing P1 community comes in from YV_TH. Describe the feeling of leading your first F1 laps.
So it was firstly very cool to lead some laps, but it's a very different feeling when you've got Max Verstappen in a Red Bull behind you, because you know it's going to be a matter of when he comes past you, not if at the moment. So the first couple of laps before the safety car came out, I was like, okay, I'm sort of keeping him at bay a little bit. But then as soon as the safety car came out, I knew without downforce I was going to be in a lot of trouble. And even after that, it was clear he had a lot more pace. So.
We were on F1 Manager last night actually doing one of the scenarios, which is McLaren at Silverstone, and we were doing it about 100 times trying to get you guys to beat Max Verstappen, so that was fun.
Was it successful?
No. Next question is from Pastry Claire. Who do you get along with best on the grid?
I get along well with Lando, obviously, being teammates. Logan as well, because we've raced each other sort of all the way through our careers. Guan Yu Zhou as well, raced each other in F2. And I'm still getting to know some of the other guys as well. But yeah, Lando and Logan, I would say, is the main two.
Is there an F1 driver WhatsApp group?
There is.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's the GPDA WhatsApp group chat. It's not as exciting.
Is it fire memes? And
no.
No.
I think everybody has this really grand idea of how exciting it is, and people are just taking shots at each other and posting memes, but it's really quite
formal.
Maybe you need to start the memes. Just throw one in there, see how it's received.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, next question comes in from Amaya_Joshi. Who was your hardest competitor through the junior formulas?
I would say the quickest guy I've raced, and probably one of the tighter championship battles, was Victor Martins, who's racing in F2 at the moment. We had a big championship battle in Formula Renault that year, and he was very, very hard to beat. Had a good championship battle with Logan in F3, but if I was to pick one, I'd probably say Victor, yeah.
Got a question from Ant Morgan F1. What's the best and worst parts of being an F1 driver from your perspective?
The best part is you get to drive Formula 1 cars for a living, so that never gets old, ever. The worst part, when we do the media interviews after the race and stuff, we do that exact same interview 10 times after each session. I
was going to say, actually, because it's funny when I watch every driver interview that they have such a way of delivering it as if it's the first time they've ever said it. Yes. How much training did that take?
It takes a while, but it's also helpful because it's all usually on different countries and stuff, so you usually only see one or two of them. But yeah, you try and word a little bit differently just in case someone goes, you've just said the exact same thing 4 times in a row.
Even though if it was the same question, you're like,
exactly,
I have the same answer.
Yeah.
The only Nick _ comes in with, who did you idolise when coming through karting and the junior ranks? Is that driver on the grid today? If so, have you told him?
I would say I'd never really had one specific idol. When I was growing up watching, Mark Webber was at Red Bull, and he's now my manager, which is still weird to say 3 years working together. But obviously being Australian, being in a Red Bull that was very quick at the time, I kind of naturally followed him. Even some of the guys in the junior ranks above me, Lando was always kind of 2-3 years above me, winning most things on his way up. So I guess kind of him in some ways.
This question is from Not Piastri. And they've said, I told Twitter if Oscar Piastri gets a podium, I'll get a tattoo dedicated to him. So what should I get as a tattoo when you get a podium?
First question I have that is, are we counting the sprint as a podium?
Exactly.
Because if we are, This is not a theoretical anymore. This is you're getting a tattoo. I don't know, something small. Maybe just a photo of me giving a thumbs up, because that's kind of just my my thing. Or the face of me in the Austria garage when the jetpack man fell off.
Oh, that was class. That was so. Oh my God, your reaction made that. It was brilliant.
This one's from Harry Bray, and they've asked, what's one rule you'd change in F1 and why?
I think a lot of other series have the if you cause a red flag in qualifying, you get your lap deleted rule. I think that would be good. I've been in series where that's been the case, and I think it just gets rid of a lot of ambiguity on was it accidentally on purpose or, it also just punishes you a bit for making a mistake. So I think that could be a good rule.
Yeah, why do you think F1 don't have that?
I don't know, in all honesty.
I have no idea. It's strange how much it's come up in the last few years though, and it's almost seemed like such a non-issue for years, and then over the last 2 or 3 years, it seems like, particularly Monaco, every year this controversy comes up, and then we have this debate.
Yeah.
This question is from Oscar Piastri 81, which is not you. What is your favourite F1 meme?
Favorite F1 meme? I mean, let's be honest, I've had my fair share of F1 memes in my short career. I mean, the one of Magnussen and Hulkenberg when they crashed into each other and
classic.
The suck my balls was thrown out. That was quite funny. There's a lot of other good ones. Some I probably can't say, but no, there's plenty of good ones. But I'll go with that one.
When you had that moment when the jetpack guy and you looked at the camera, did you think immediately as you did that, you're like, that's going on TikTok everywhere?
Pretty much, yeah, because I had the cameraman in there on my face before he starts actually filming, and then as soon as the jetpack man fell out of the sky, I was like, this is definitely going on to me. So I kind of look at the camera to see if it's on or not, look back at the screen, and then it goes to me. And I was like, well, I can't just sit here and not do anything because it's pretty obvious I've just seen this guy fall out of the sky. And I was hoping he was okay, but yeah, it was pretty spectacular. I was happy to be a part of it, actually.
Next question comes from Muckschwager89. What's your favourite track to race at, on or off the current F1 calendar?
So we've just been to my favourite track. Spa is my favourite. This was the first time I'd been back there for a few years at the weekend, so yeah, I really enjoy it. Like, it's good for racing, it's very historic, it's got a lot of cool corners. Every time you go up Eau Rouge for the first time, each weekend, it's always pretty damn cool. What
is it like taking Eau Rouge and Rallye in a Formula One car for the first time? Like, how would you describe it?
I mean, it kind of hurts a little bit because you get squashed, like your whole body just gets squashed at the bottom of the hill as you go in the compression. But the first time you take it, like you can't see the top, you're literally looking at the sky. It's pretty much if you started doing like a loop-de-loop on a roller coaster and then stopped halfway through, pretty much. It's very special. And this year, practice was obviously wet, so the first time going up there was a little bit sketchy, to say the least.
Yeah, we were wincing when we were watching it. It's crazy, the onboards.
Yes.
Next question from Papa Henry. How do you feel about the sprint race podium? Does it feel like a podium finish or just a precursor?
I would say more a precursor. Like, you don't get the champagne, you don't get you get a plaque that then turns into a trophy, but you've only done a quarter of the race distance as well. So you almost kind of feel like it's not the same effort for it. So it's not quite the same, but it's still very cool to at least be in that position, but definitely a precursor.
Where do you stand on sprint races, sprint race weekends, all that sort of stuff? There's lots of debate, potentially more and more as we go through the years. Where's your sort of opinion sit on the sprint race weekends?
I feel like the format we've got this year is much better than the original format we had. I think having it as kind of a separate day almost on Saturday with like its own qualifying and then the sprint that doesn't impact the race itself. I feel that's quite a good way of doing things, and I think like in Spa we saw, like I was able to have a really good day on Saturday, get myself a good result. So sometimes you might cause like, maybe not an upset, but slightly different results, and adds the excitement. It makes Friday more exciting as well because you got qualifying, so yeah, I think it's quite cool.
This one is from Schnack attack. How has it been having Lando as a teammate? What has been the most important thing that you've learned from him?
I mean, firstly, it's been good to have Lando as a teammate. He's been a very good benchmark. To have, be able to look at how he drives and stuff like that, it's very useful. I think just, he's obviously been with the team for a long time. He's been through the highs and the lows of the team. Now we're on obviously a high, but the start of the season was pretty difficult for everybody. And I think even still, he was quite good at staying motivated and still pushing the team to get back on track. And I think he's just a really quick driver as well. So it's just good to learn how to drive quickly from him.
Absolutely. You've learned quite quickly, especially after Spa. It's awesome to see. And the final question, we always finish on serious questions. Phil Sink, favourite pastry?
Favourite pastry?
Have you been forced into liking pastry just because of your name? Is it like...
No. I've always been a sweet tooth. It's a weakness of mine. I quite like a pain au chocolat. That's usually my go-to. I really like chocolate.
Yeah.
So it combines two very good things, especially when it's warm. It's amazing.
Is that a difficult thing when you're a Formula One driver?
Yes.
To stay healthy?
Very, very difficult.
Especially in the summer break, I bet, where it's like, you can have one.
Yeah, I can have one, and then you come back and, I'm 3 kilos heavy. I've got to behave.
Amazing. Yeah, you got to behave. Well, thank you so much, Oscar, for joining us on the podcast. It's been brilliant to have you. Best of luck for Zandvoort. We're actually going to be there, so we'll wave to you as you're going round. Are you looking forward to Zandvoort? It's a track you've never done, or have you done it before?
I have got very, very limited experience there. I've done 2 practice sessions in a Formula Renault car there. Okay. So maybe you should bring an orange flag. You really stand out.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Nice. I'll be able to spot you really easy.
Well, Tommy will anyway, as a Verstappen fan. So, thank you so much, Oscar.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.